wake up every morning feeling heavy, bloated, and uncomfortable? Like your digestive system just never fully resets overnight? Maybe you've already tried drinking more water, eating more fiber, even cutting out certain foods. And yet, that stubborn bloating keeps coming back, day after day. Here's something most doctors won't tell you. The real reason your gut stays bloated and sluggish isn't just about what you eat. It's about what you do. Specifically in those first critical moments of your morning. Your gut has a biological window every single day, and most people completely miss it without even knowing it exists. What if 3 simple morning habits could change everything? What if your body already knows how to flush out bloating and heal your gut lining? It just needs the right signal to do it. And what if you've been accidentally blocking that signal every single morning? In this video, you will learn 3 powerful morning habits that heal your gut and flush out bloating fast. And number 2 might genuinely surprise you, because it has nothing to do with food or supplements at all. Most people never connect it to gut health. But once you see how it works, you'll never skip it again. Make sure you stay until the end, because all 3 habits work even faster when you combine them together. Before we get into it, can you do us a quick favor? Like this video and subscribe to join our healthy community. Also, type yes in the comments section right now so we can see how many of you are ready to heal your gut for good. Alright, let's get started. Habit number 3, your posture on the toilet. This one might be the most overlooked habit of all 3. And once you understand the simple anatomy behind it, you'll never think about your morning routine the same way again. Deep inside your pelvis, there's a muscle called the puborectalis. It wraps around your lower intestine like a sling and holds a natural bend in place. Think of it like a garden hose that's slightly kinked. That kink is actually useful during the day. It helps your body stay in control and prevents accidental leakage. But when it's time to have a bowel movement, that kink needs to fully open. The muscle needs to relax completely, so everything can pass through freely and without resistance. Here's the problem. In the standard seated position, feet flat on the floor, hips at a 90-degree angle, that muscle doesn't fully release. The kink stays, partially in place. Your body compensates by pushing harder to work around it. And it works, mostly, but not completely. What gets left behind is exactly what causes the problem. Stool that wasn't fully passed stays in the colon longer than it should. Your colon continues breaking it down. More gas is produced in the process. And the result is the bloating, the pressure, the uncomfortable heaviness that many people feel throughout the afternoon and evening, often without ever connecting it to an incomplete bowel movement from hours earlier. They blame their lunch. They blame their coffee. But the real issue started first thing in the morning. What the research actually shows. This isn't just theory. A clinical study published in 2003 by researchers Dov Sikharov, a gastroenterologist, compared 3 different toilet positions in 28 healthy adults: standard sitting with feet flat, sitting on a lower seat, and squatting. Participants kept detailed logs of their bowel movements over several weeks. The results were striking. Those in the squatting position, where the knees were raised above the hips, completed their bowel movements in an average of 51 seconds, compared to over 130 seconds in the standard seated position. More importantly, they reported significantly stronger sensations of complete emptying and far less straining overall. The conclusion was clear. The angle of the body during a bowel movement directly affects how efficiently and completely the colon empties. A later study published in the Journal of Clinical Gastroenterology in 2010 supported these findings, showing that raising the feet during defecation reduced the anorectal angle, that internal kink, and allowed for smoother, more complete elimination. Participants consistently reported less bloating and abdominal discomfort in the hours following bowel movements when they used an elevated foot position. How to apply this starting tomorrow morning. When you raise your feet, even slightly, your knees lift above your hips. That single shift changes everything. It straightens out that inner kink completely. The puborectalis muscle relaxes the way it was anatomically designed to. The passage opens fully, and what needed to come out can come out completely, without straining, without forcing. You don't need to purchase anything specific. A firm surface 4 to 6 inches high placed under both feet is enough. A folded blanket, or a small step stool, a thick hardcover book, anything stable that fits comfortably in front of your toilet. Some people already own a low footstool that works perfectly. People who make this one simple adjustment describe fewer episodes of straining, a stronger and more satisfying sense of complete emptying, and noticeably less bloating by the end of the day. Not because they changed their diet, not because they added a supplement, because they finally allowed their body to complete a process. It was never quite finishing. This isn't a wellness trend. It's how the human body was built to function, long before modern plumbing changed everything. The sit-down toilet is a relatively recent invention, dating back only about 200 years in widespread use. That muscle in your pelvis has been doing its job for hundreds of thousands of years. It just works better in the position it was designed for. One practical note: if you have limited mobility in your knees, hips, or ankles, choose a support that feels stable and comfortable for your body. The goal is a gentle lift, not a stretch, not a strain. Any small, stable surface that raises your feet just a few inches will absolutely do the job. Habit number 2. Warm water on an empty stomach. This one might genuinely surprise you, because it has nothing to do with food, fiber, or supplements at all. No special ingredients, no preparation, just water. But the timing, the temperature, and the way you drink it make all the difference. Here's what's actually happening inside your body every single morning. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep, your digestive system has been almost completely at rest. No food moving through, no significant muscle contractions. Your colon has been quiet. And for a gut that's already slow, one that has gradually lost some of its natural coordination over the years, that overnight pause can stretch well into the morning without anything happening at all. The result? That familiar heaviness, that backed-up bloated feeling before you've even eaten a single thing. Warm water changes that, and it does so by targeting the very first signal your gut receives each morning. The science behind the signal. Your digestive tract has its own private nervous system. Scientists call it the enteric nervous system, and it contains over 500 million nerve cells lining your gut from your esophagus all the way down to your colon. This system operates almost entirely on its own, completely independent from your brain. It doesn't wait for instructions. It detects what's happening inside your digestive tract and responds automatically. When warm liquid enters an empty stomach first thing in the morning, it activates this system immediately. Your stomach wall detects the warmth and sends a direct signal to your colon through a reflex called the gastrocolic reflex. This reflex triggers peristalsis, the rhythmic wave-like muscle contractions that move waste through your colon and toward elimination. In simple terms, warm water wakes your gut up and tells it to get moving. A study published in the Journal of Neurogastroenterology and Motility in 2012 examined the effect of warm versus cold water on gastric motility, meaning how quickly and efficiently the stomach and intestines move their contents. Researchers found that warm liquids significantly increased motility compared to cold liquids, with participants experiencing faster gastric emptying and more frequent bowel contractions in the hours following consumption. Separately, a 2016 clinical study conducted on post-surgery patients found that those given warm water to drink in the morning resumed normal bowel function an average of 1 full day earlier than those given room temperature or cold water. The researchers concluded that warm water was a simple, low-risk intervention for stimulating gut motility, particularly in people whose digestive systems were slow or temporarily inactive. Cold water can trigger a mild version of the gastrocolic reflex too, but warm water does it more reliably and more gently. That single difference in temperature is what makes this habit so consistently effective for people dealing with chronic bloating and sluggish digestion. How to do it correctly. The method matters almost as much as the habit itself. Here's exactly what to do. Every morning, as soon as you wake up, before breakfast, before coffee, before anything else, drink 1 cup of warm water, roughly 8 ounces. The temperature should feel comfortably warm on your hand, not hot enough to burn. Think of the warmth of a soothing herbal tea, but without anything added. Sip it slowly over 5 to 10 minutes. Do not gulp it down. Sipping gives your stomach wall time to register the warmth and activate that reflex properly. Then give your body 15 to 20 minutes before eating breakfast. That window right after drinking is when the gastrocolic reflex is most active. And for many people, that's when the urge for a bowel movement naturally arrives. You can add a small squeeze of fresh lemon juice if you'd like. Lemon adds a mild digestive benefit of its own, and makes the habit easier to maintain long-term. But plain warm water works just as well. For people who regularly go 2 or 3 days without a bowel movement, this habit alone often shifts the pattern within the first week of consistent practice. Not because it forces anything, because it reminds a quiet, sluggish gut that the day has started and it's time to work. One important note: if your doctor has recommended limiting your fluid intake for any medical reason, related to kidney function, heart conditions, or otherwise, always follow that guidance first. For most people, however, this is one of the simplest, least expensive, and most consistently underestimated habits for gut health you will ever come across. Habit number 1. Psyllium husk, used the right way. Most of the advice you've already heard about fiber misses the point entirely, and that's not your fault. For decades, the standard recommendation for bloating and constipation has been the same: eat more fiber, and most people try. They add bran, whole grains, raw vegetables, and many of them end up feeling even more bloated and uncomfortable than before. Here's exactly why, and what to do instead. Not all fiber works the same way. Most common fiber sources work by adding what's called insoluble fiber, dry, rough bulk that pushes through your digestive system largely unchanged. Think of it like adding more dry material into a pipe that's already moving slowly. When your digestive system is healthy and well hydrated, that roughage helps sweep things along. But when your colon is already sluggish, already struggling, adding more dry bulk can compact things further, increase gas production, and make bloating significantly worse before anything improves. Psyllium husk works through a completely different mechanism, and that difference is everything. What psyllium actually does: inside your gut, psyllium husk comes from the seeds of a plant called Plantago ovata, and it's one of the richest sources of soluble fiber found in nature. When psyllium comes into contact with water, it doesn't stay dry and rough. It transforms. It absorbs the liquid and forms a thick, smooth, slippery gel, almost like a soft coating that wraps around the contents of your intestines. That gel does 2 critical things simultaneously. First, it locks moisture inside the stool, keeping it soft and easy to move. Second, it creates a slick, smooth surface that allows stool to glide through your colon with minimal effort and minimal friction. That last part is the key that most people overlook. Your colon doesn't have to strain against soft, well-lubricated stool. It moves almost on its own. Hard, dry stool, on the other hand, requires significant muscular effort to push through. And that straining is what leads to the incomplete emptying, the lingering pressure, and the bloating that follows people through their entire day. Why this matters. Even more after 40. Here's something most people are never told. As you get older, your colon gradually becomes more aggressive at extracting water from stool as it passes through. It's a natural physiological change, but the consequence is significant. More water removed means drier stool. Drier stool means harder to pass. Harder to pass means more straining, more gas trapped behind the blockage, and more of the chronic bloating that seems impossible to resolve. Psyllium directly counters this process, not by forcing your colon to work differently, but by ensuring the stool itself retains enough moisture to move easily, regardless of how much water your colon tries to pull out. What the research shows. The evidence behind psyllium is among the most consistent of any dietary intervention for digestive health. A landmark randomized controlled trial published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 1998 followed adults with chronic constipation over an 8-week period. Participants taking psyllium husk daily showed significantly softer stool consistency, more frequent and complete bowel movements, and substantially less straining compared to the control group. A more recent meta-analysis published in 2014 in the World Journal of Gastroenterology reviewed data from multiple clinical trials and confirmed that psyllium outperformed other fiber types, including wheat bran and methylcellulose, in improving stool consistency and reducing bloating in adults with chronic digestive issues. Researchers specifically highlighted its unique gel-forming property as the reason for its superior effectiveness. How to use it correctly. The method matters as much as the fiber itself, because psyllium used incorrectly can actually worsen constipation. Start with 1 teaspoon, roughly 5 grams, stirred into a full 8-ounce glass of water. Drink it immediately before the mixture thickens too much, and follow it right away with another 4 to 8 ounces of plain water. Take it once a day to start, ideally in the morning. After 1 week, if needed, You can gradually increase to twice daily. The effect takes days, not hours. And that is not a flaw. You are not triggering a forced reaction. You are gradually changing the physical composition of stool before it ever needs to be moved. That's a fundamentally different and far gentler approach than any laxative or stimulant. One critical warning: psyllium taken without sufficient water makes constipation worse, not better. Without adequate fluid, the gel cannot form properly. Instead, psyllium becomes a dense, dry mass, exactly what you're trying to avoid. Always take it with a full glass of water and stay well hydrated throughout the entire day. If you have ever experienced an intestinal blockage or narrowing, or if you take multiple daily medications, speak with your doctor before adding psyllium to your routine. For most healthy adults, it is safe, widely available in most grocery stores and pharmacies, and one of the most well-supported natural tools for long-term gut health that exists. Bonus habits. Supporting the same system. Those 3 habits are your foundation, but your gut is a system, and systems respond to consistency across multiple inputs. Yet here are a few additional things worth knowing, not as replacements for what you've already learned, but as ways to reinforce the same underlying process and get results even faster. First, hydrated chia seeds follow the exact same logic as psyllium husk. When soaked in water, they form a thick, smooth gel that keeps stool soft and moving through your colon efficiently. But the preparation step is not optional, and this is where most people get it wrong. Chia seeds eaten dry, sprinkled into food without adequate liquid, actually pull moisture away from your colon instead of adding to it. 1 tablespoon soaked in a full cup of water for at least 20 minutes before eating. That's what makes them genuinely useful. Second, how you spread your water intake throughout the day matters more than the total amount you drink. Most people focus on how much they drink. What your colon actually responds to is how you drink it. Small amounts sipped regularly and consistently throughout the day keep your colon hydrated at a steady, usable level. 2 large glasses consumed all at once don't produce the same effect. Slow and steady hydration is what your digestive system truly needs. Third, daily movement keeps your gut active and on schedule. Your colon relies on physical movement to maintain its own rhythm. When you sit for most of the day, that stimulation disappears, and your gut slows down right along with it. A brisk 20-minute walk is genuinely enough. The intensity doesn't matter nearly as much as the consistency. Most days of the week is what makes the difference. Finally, fermented foods. Plain yogurt with live cultures, kefir, unfermented vegetables like sauerkraut or kimchi help support and diversify the beneficial bacteria already living in your gut. The greater the variety of good bacteria thriving in your digestive system, the better your gut functions overall. Less gas, more regular elimination, less bloating. You don't need expensive probiotic supplements to begin. Simply eating these foods consistently is a powerful and practical first step. Let's bring everything together. Adjusting your toilet posture removes a physical obstacle that's been making every bowel movement harder than it needs to be. Warm water first thing in the morning activates the natural reflex your gut depends on to get moving. And psyllium husk keeps your stool soft enough to pass easily, working directly against the changes that make constipation worse with age. On the bonus habits, hydrated chia, steady water intake, daily movement, fermented foods, all support the same system. None of this requires a prescription. None of it is complicated. All of it is already within your reach, starting tomorrow morning. Small, consistent habits create real, lasting change. Not overnight, but over days and weeks of repetition, your gut responds. And now you understand exactly why. If this video helped you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs it. And if you're ready to keep learning how to feel better in your own body every single day, we have more videos waiting for you right now. Click on one of them on your screen, and we'll see you there. Take good care.